I'm always asked by a lot of people, Gamma, what is your favorite Story of Seasons title? And most times I will say right away, Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town on the Game Boy Advance. There was something about that game that really captured me, and would have me waste entire days of my childhood sitting in the living room playing the game. Even when revisiting the game several years later, I find it easy to say that the gameplay of Friends of Mineral Town has held up extremely well and is still enjoyable to play. So when Marvelous announced they will be remaking Friends of Mineral Town for the Nintendo Switch, I was honestly excited. Could Marvelous find a way to keep the original feel of the game that made it so great to play, while also bringing it to the modern standard of the rest of the Story of Seasons series? Well, that is what we're going to explore here in today's review. I guess I should address the elephant in the room first. A lot of designs have changed from the original Back to Nature and Friends of Mineral Town. Marvelous has explained this was done because this was the original vision for the game. It seems like the reused assets from 64 to Back to Nature may have just been a cost-saving measure, and it wasn't fixed in Friends of Mineral Town. I honestly like most of the redesigns, as they seem to fit every character they portray, and gives me a nice sense of where the art of the series could go in the future. Also, the trailers for this game visually don't do it any justice. It's an entirely different beast once you play it, especially if you're playing it on PC like me. Friends of Mineral Town starts off by finding out you've inherited your grandfather's old farm, and you decided to take up the initiative to bring it back to its former glory. Like a lot of earlier Story of Seasons titles, the game itself is very light on the overall plot, and just boils down to running the farm well. Most of the narrative and storytelling is more centered around the people of Mineral Town as opposed to Mineral Town itself, and everything you learn about the town and its people will be through strengthening your friendships with those that live there. So what can we expect in our day-to-day farm life? And has it changed much from the original Friends of Mineral Town? The answer is you can expect nearly the exact same farming experience from the original Friends of Mineral Town, with a plethora of quality of life improvements to help refine, and in my opinion, one of the best farming systems in the series so far. Those of you who are coming into this game off of Trio of Towns may be taken aback to how different farming is compared to that entry, but I assure you, you will see the magic in how this all comes together. When it comes to the standard farming itself, you'll be starting out tilling the soil around you one square at a time. You're just a fledgling farmer after all. So you'll have to work hard and level up your tools to get the most out of them. This helps create a sense of progression and scale that the series is known for. At the start of the game, you will only be able to truly make use of a small stamp of your land, but by the end of, say, the second year, you should have no trouble taking that decrepit land and turning it into something fruitful. It's due to all of this that the farming feels so rewarding. When I was fully able to use the full potential of my land, there was just something about it that pushed all the right buttons for me. Now you're probably wondering, what quality of life changes have been added to make the farming itself stand out more from the original game? Well, the biggest change is that you can now walk through all of your crops. Now, for those of you who have not played the original, may not see that as a big deal, but let me tell you, it always hurt to not be able to make use of a full 3x3 bag of seeds. So you can now make use of an entire bag without having to upgrade your watering can to cover the areas you can't walk to. In fact, there's nothing that can really stop you from covering the entire field into one giant crop landscape. Well, you have to have the stamina to upkeep it, but outside of that, you have free reign. Other changes include a better tool swapping system, and an improved inventory system in which each square in your inventory will now hold a stack of 9 of each item, making harvesting your crops a huge breeze. This increased bag size will also help you out in your extended stay in the mines as well. No longer will you have to carry a basket to the mines and risk forgetting it on one of the floors you were on. You will have all the space you could possibly need, and more so thanks to upgrades. The overall farming is really what I would come to expect from a Friends of Mineral Town remake. The core system is nearly identical to that of the original release, with enough quality of life changes to make the whole thing a lot more enjoyable. Another neat thing about the farming is the variety of animals you can raise in your farm too. You have an adorable selection of cows to choose from, and there are some new animals too, such as alpacas and rabbits. Oh, and you can also go to Van's store and buy pets such as an amazing penguin or adorable kittens. Also, the harvest sprites return as the nature sprites, and as before, you can have them work around your farm and help with the chores. Just be sure you have plenty of gifts to pay them for their help. Now, on to the social aspects of the game. Things may be a bit different if you have played the original game, such as the names of a lot of characters. With this game, XSEED Games has provided a brand new and overhauled localization that is more in line with the original Japanese script, and that would include keeping the original name of the characters as well. You see, when Natsume localized the original game, they kept all of the names from their Harvest Moon 64 counterparts, even though all of the characters in Back to Nature and Friends of Mineral Town had different names. But I digress, that is an entirely separate matter. The actual character interactions of everyone are honestly better than I remembered. Mineral Town is a wonderful cast of characters, and such a tightly knit community that my involvement with everyone just felt so natural. Another thing that goes a long way with this game is the inclusion of same-sex marriage. The reason why I'm so fond of it in this game is because you're no longer locked out of friendship events of characters of the same sex. You can see everyone's events up through their Green Heart event, which I was so happy to do. This allowed me to feel like I was creating genuine bonds with the people around town. These events allowed for the feel of a genuine friendship to grow, and if I wanted to further that friendship into a dating relationship, I can do that with a simple flower, regardless of the gender of the person. Not only is this feature a great way to increase inclusion in the game, but it also goes a long way with the world building as well. As an issue I had with the original games that I felt like I couldn't make genuine friends. Another issue that I found myself having is something that carries over from the original game, and that is there are a lot of side stories that simply do not get any real resolution to them. While a lot of the villagers in Mineral Town are wonderful characters that I deeply love, a lot of their stories just feel incomplete, seeing as most of the villagers only have 2 events. So you can never find out why certain things happen. I feel like this was a missed opportunity to expand on certain characters and give them a new purpose. But alas, this is just a very good remake. I should also mention there were also 2 new characters as well for you to choose from. There's Jennifer and Brandon. But honestly, they were kind of bland and forgettable to me. I feel like they didn't really fit in with the rest of Mineral Town. Another thing really done well in this remake would have to be the soundtrack. The majority of the tracks from the original game have been redone in such a phenomenal way that fit the current mood and scene that they're in. I was at first very skeptical on how the music would be handled in this, since the transition would be from the GBA format into what it sounds like, a full orchestra format. And honestly, they did a fantastic job, and not only that, but they actually have new exclusive themes of music in this game as well for certain events throughout the year and for weekends, giving the game a much more vibrant feeling than the original one. I really can't stress enough how good the soundtrack is of this game, and it just definitely brings this whole game together as one complete package. And if you can't tell, this was kind of an impromptu section I recorded while editing it, because this is not in the original scripted review. I have no idea how I forgot to record about the music, but it's really good. I enjoyed almost all of it. The final thing I wanted to mention was more on your character's love life. You see, before you get married, you have to start dating your significant other first. By doing this, you are rewarded with brand new events exclusive to dating them. Some of these events really flesh out characters as well as answer a lot of unanswered questions about their past. Oh, and don't worry, you can date everyone in town if you want to, but you can only marry one person. Also, it should be noted that rival events do return in this game, but sadly there is no rival marriage, as only the black and purple rival heart events exist. Story of Seasons Friends of Mineral Town is honestly my ideal remake of the original Friends of Mineral Town. Not only does the remake do the original game justice, but all the quality of life changes and fixes makes this a definitive way to play this game. And with everything going on in the world right now, honestly, you can't go wrong with this one to take your mind off of things. You will easily lose yourself with these amazing Friends of Mineral Town. And that does it for our review of Story of Seasons Friends of Mineral Town. This game will be available on the Nintendo Switch and on Steam, and I reviewed the PC version of this game, and it's a pretty good PC port if I do say so myself. There are a few hitches here and there, but that could be because I was playing the game at 1440p and 60 frames per second, but nonetheless, it is a really good PC port. But yeah, let me know down in the comment section below, do you guys plan on picking up Story of Seasons Friends of Mineral Town? And if so, which version, on Switch or on PC? I would love to know. Also, if you have any questions for me about the game or the review, by all means leave them down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you all. And if you're new to my channel, finding out for the first time through this review, hey, be sure to subscribe for future reviews, commentaries, let's plays, and more. And finally, I'd like to thank all the people here on screen for their continued support of my projects. And as always, everyone, thanks for watching.